What's up, hockey think tankers? Welcome to another Friday Face-Off episode sponsored by Titan Battle Gear. If you heard our podcast with the Titan Battle Gear founder a few months ago, you know why we're excited about what they're building. Titan is changing how players think about their base layer protection. It's Velcro-free, breathable, lightweight, and made with the highest rated cut-resistant fabric on the market. It's also completely personalizable. That's not a word, but you know what I'm saying. It's no wonder they've recently become an official partner of USA Hockey to help advance player safety. This is definitely the gear we want our athletes wearing, and Hockey Think Tank listeners can get 15% off at titanbattlegear.com/GMBM.
.com. What's up, everybody? Happy Friday Face-Off to y'all. We got a good one here today. We're going to, I don't know exactly where this one's going to go, but I think it's going to strike a little bit of a chord between Jeffrey Jehu Lavecchio and I. And we're going to have maybe a heated, let's say, a couple of minutes here. So we got 10 minutes around the clock. And what we're going to talk about today is what happens when a player and a family decides to leave a youth organization. Okay. So season's starting up here. Tryouts are happening for, a bunch of tier 2 organizations. But also, some kids have left different organizations for various reasons, a little bit older, tier 1 level. Maybe they go to a prep school. Maybe they go to an academy. Maybe they go to, another state to play for a lateral move for a AAA organization. But it's happening a lot, when there's no borders, man. It makes things crazy, and people are going to leave. It's going to happen. So I wanted to talk about two different things today, Vex. What happens if you're the organization or the coach and somebody is leaving you? How do you handle that? And then if you are the player, or if you are the family that is leaving an organization to go to another one, how do you handle that? And so I'll leave it to you to start. Which one do you want to go with? Let's start. I'll ask you. Which one do you want to start with?
Either, man. Maybe kids leaving the organization to go somewhere else.
Okay, let's start with. I'm a player, and there's a better opportunity, or what my family and I think is a better opportunity. On the other side of the tracks. And we're going to go pursue that opportunity. So we're going to leave our organization to go to a different one. What do you think is really good advice for that family? Number one, in how you leave the organization that you're with. And then number two, like things to know as you get your feet wet and settle into a new organization that you're not as familiar with.
I mean, I think number one, how you leave an organization matters. Hockey's freaking crazy, man. As we know, as everyone who's listening to this knows and is listening to us, probably because they feel the craziness. I think everyone involved in this whole situation that is not the player, all of the adults, from the coaches to the board to the organization, the old, the new, the parents, everyone needs to remember that these are children. These are children. I don't care if it's AAA, AA, house league. We're talking about kids, and we need to think about that they are not adults. They don't perceive the world the same way we do. They don't have the wisdom, the knowledge, or the experience to handle things the same way that adults do. And they should not be treated like they are an adult making an adult decision as far as the kid goes. I would also say that when somebody's leaving your organization, that family has paid your organization to be part of it. They have paid you. And a lot. I don't care, unless it's house league. And even then, that's still a lot of money, all right? Like, it's not basketball where you pay for a pair of shoes and a ball, all right? Like, hockey's expensive. So just as a business owner, remember that this family, whether they were with you a year or multiple years, paid to be part of your organization, and a lot. So treat them as such in that regards, with respect. I don't know, dude. I'm just going to lose my mind because I hear these crazy freaking stories all the time about people leaving in an organization, and then the organization acts like the family and the player are dead to them. It's not okay, dude. These are kids. All right. Yes, sometimes people make decisions that we as an organization or a coach or a board don't agree with them. We think that we can offer better. And I hope that you think that, because hopefully you think that you're doing all the best things that you can for that family and player and all the resources. But sometimes people are going to make decisions, and that's not on you to decide what they do for their child and their family. We need to remember these things. Getting mad at somebody for leaving an organization, why? You can disagree with their decision, but it's youth sports. Let's not forget that. Should that player be cut off from ever being allowed to do anything with that organization ever again? I don't think so. Let's grow up and have some levity, take a 10,000 foot view. Does that mean they get to participate in all of the things that people in the organization get perks with the organization? No. But like, we can still treat everybody like a human being and remember that these are all kids. No matter what's happening, no matter what is happening, these are kids. All right. Yeah. If you want to have adult conversations with adults, those should happen behind closed doors, and the kids should not be a part of them. I don't know. I think just base level respect on both ways. If you're the organization they're going to, I hope you weren't like actively trying to poach the kid, and then that creates all this other stuff where in the end, it all comes down to adult ego. Like, let's just treat, and I'm not trying to be the fairness police or like have everybody love it. Like, let's just be good to the kids. It's about kids. Let's always remember that. And I think that that's where my point is trying to go. I hear all these disgusting stories. I heard 2 of them today about somebody leaving and the way that they treated a child. And it's wild. And I have pride. If I have a player who leaves me to go to another gym, which never happens, but if it has probably once or twice in 19 years, it hurts my pride, but I'm still there for that kid. If they call me in a month, a year, 6 years, because I care about them as a child, as a human. Also, as a business owner, they paid me for my services, and I just always want to be there for them because they chose me to work with me at any point in time. I don't know, man. I'm going off on these rants. I'm trying not to get rattled.
Get rattled. Let's go.
Let's keep the kids first and remember that it's about the freaking kids, and they're not all going to play in the NHL. They don't all want to play in the NHL, and this should be a positive part of their childhood, no matter what happens.
Yeah. I think, well, first of all, you just saying put the kids first, adults, get your egos out of the way, I think is massively important. And then the other thing I would add, Vex, is, I think empathy is a really important value and skill for people to have. And I don't mean like the soft empathy kind of thing. I mean, just like having the ability to put yourself in somebody else's shoes. So think about this. Let's think about this rationally. Okay. You're an organization and there's a family that you thought was going to come back, let's say, and they're leaving to go somewhere else. Well, rather than saying F you to that family and F you to all the people that recruited them and all that kind of stuff, number one, put yourself in that family's shoes. Okay. And you never really know what's going on in a situation. Maybe there's some sickness, maybe a kid's not doing well in school. So like, put yourself in their shoes. And the best way that you can do that is just like ask the questions, get feedback. Hey, like, we thought you were going to be a big part of what we're doing here. I want to be better as a coach. I want to be better as an organization. Like, why are you guys, why are you leaving? And so the next person that is feeling that same way, I can maybe, do something a little bit differently, or just know that's why you're leaving. Right. And so like, I think as an organization or as a coach, rather than pointing fingers, point thumbs, what can I do to be better, and seek to understand why. Right. And you might not agree with it. You might not like it. They might lie to your face, who knows, but don't blackball a kid. I have zero anything for organizations when somebody leaves and then all of a sudden they're going to shut them off. Like it happened to me when I was a coach in college. Like there was a kid that we had recruited who was going to leave a junior league to go to another one. And the league that he was playing in was a lesser league, and it was by his house. It was actually the house the rink that he like trained in the summers. And the coach of the team that was leaving said, okay, well, if you're going to leave my team to go to a better junior league, you're not allowed in this rink anymore. You and your brother are not allowed to train in this rink, be in this rink, all this guy. And he like called me like crying. Like, I don't know what to do. Can you help me? Kind of thing. And so it's so dumb, but
it's disgusting. It's disgusting.
So that stuff happens. Like, let's and it's so bad.
Very similar. I know kids who played for like 3 to 6 years in a AAA organization. They leave town to go somewhere else. And then that AAA organization who says their arms are wide open to alumni all the time, blah, blah, blah. They don't let them skate in the summer with them, or they don't let them come back to the Christmas skate. And I'm like, grow up. You're embarrassing. These are children. Like, what are you doing? You can't say we're here for you and we care about our alumni, and then they leave for 1 year because of whatever reasons they thought it was best for them, and then you cut them off forever. Just let's talk about the fact that they probably spent $100,000 on your organization those 5 years they were with you, or 6 years or 7 years. Just that fact alone, you're not going to let them come to a summer skate anymore.
Yeah.
Grow up.
Yeah. 100%. So like on the organization side, if you're doing that stuff, like don't. And then on the other side too, I would say as a family, like just be like, if you're thinking of leaving, let people know that you're thinking of like be upfront about everything that you're doing. Cause the hardest thing for a coach or an organization is to get blindsided at the last minute and then be like, I don't know how I'm going to fill the rest of the spots for my team. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And so like, make
True.
sure you're being upfront. Now I will caveat that because I'm sure there are parents that are like, well, if I tell these people that I'm not coming back, they're going to not play my kid type of stuff. But again,
that's chicken or the egg.
But also if that's the case, you don't want to be with that organization. Yeah. Like, see ya, you know? And, you know, don't go to them being like, I'm gone. Go to them being like, hey, I'm getting a call from X, Y, and Z, and we're thinking about if this is the right decision for my kid. What do you think? You know, like approach it like that. Be upfront, be transparent. Like in college, that's what we always told our kids who were like NHL draft picks was like, hey, if you're thinking you might be wanting to leave early, please, at the first foremost of that thought, you got to let us know. Please let us know. Please let us know. So that way we can prepare, you know, for that potential opportunity. So just like if you are a family that's thinking about leaving for whatever reason, be transparent, be upfront as much as you feel like you can. Again, get the other side of it. And again, it just goes back to like people being open and having these conversations in a respectful way, not, you know, like you said, like blackballing kids for making decisions or families or whatever. Like, come on, give me a break. And it just goes to it. The fact that we even have to talk about this stuff, man, like, you know, I get competition brings out the best in people. Like you and I are both two of the most competitive people probably on the planet when it comes to everything, but let alone hockey. But like this competitiveness as far as recruiting in youth hockey has gotten out of control. And, you know, I don't know if there's a genie that can be put back in the bottle, but like we should draw districts. We should draw districts. Play for where your town is or the area, you know, whatever it may be, tier 1, you know, it's area, tier 2, maybe a little bit more of your town or your club that's nearest to you, because then it puts the focus back on actually making kids better. We don't have to have these conversations. Right. Like, and there's a time and a place when a kid gets to 15, 16 years old, you know, or especially if you're in a non-traditional area, maybe you might want to, you know, leave and things like that. And it shouldn't be like 100 or 0. Maybe there's some exceptions or, you know, whatever. But like, I feel like every problem in youth hockey stems from what? It stems from like open borders and recruiting, which then allows the money conversation to come in, which then allows the ego and the super team and all that kind of stuff. And so I don't know, man, I've been thinking a lot about that lately. And it's just, the focus is on the wrong things. It's not about making players better, at least not to the extent that it should be.
I understand that it's really hard because it's hard for us to even articulate when we're saying you want to teach kids that the value of winning and to do and to learn what it means to do everything you can to win, while at the same time, when you're the adults in the room, also knowing that it doesn't actually matter because they're children and we can use losses as ways to teach life lessons, and we can teach, you know, morals and ethics and all of these things within the vehicle of hockey as a metaphor for them. I understand that those two things are hard and sometimes they feel like they're contradictions, but they're not. You just have to like rise above, you know, here as an adult and remember like this is what youth sports is about, even at the AAA level. Okay. Especially below 16 years old. Like, come on, guys, put the damn kids first.
Yeah. And when you think about it, you're a business guy now. And like, this is something that I've learned in a lot of different ways from people much smarter than I am, but it's all about incentives. What are the incentives? In an open border, the incentives are all create super teams. Yeah, I'm sure a little bit of player development because you need to make players better for retention and to win. But like, what are the incentives? The incentives is to build the best talented team that you can. So what does your time and effort go to? Goes to that. Okay. Now you have a border, right? Like you play for your area, you play for your town. Maybe you have a choice or two and maybe a town over. I don't know, whatever. But like, what are the incentives now? Well, there are no incentives to recruit because you can't. So the incentive is to make players better. If you want to be a top organization, you have to make your players better. You have to focus on getting more kids in your organization. Your base has to be bigger. Your coaches have to be better. And those are the things that actually move the needle when it comes to growing our game and player development. Yeah. So just look at the incentives of the two different structures. You have open borders. Kids can play wherever you want. What are the incentives? And does that truly make the game better and make players better?
And make humans better, children.
Make humans better and de-stressify parents and youth coaches. You know what I mean? Right. And then you look at the incentives of the other one, like where you play for where you live. It is all about growth and development. It's all about growth and development. So now there's probably a happy medium in there somewhere. Let's not go, guys, everybody crazy and say that Toph and Jeff are advocating for one way. We're just presenting facts of what and opinions of what we believe and what we've seen. And what are the incentives, man?
Bring back District 5.
District 5. District 5. They beat the Hawks.
District 5 is a great example. The Hawks, they're out there recruiting. Well, probably couldn't, but they were, they were the cake eaters. They were the rich ones. District 5 found a way. They were passing footballs and warm-ups. All right. They were rollerblading in the Mall of America.
Catcher, goalie, chest protector. Yeah.
With old issues of the Inquirer taped to their shins.
Yeah. All right. We beat this to death. Anyways, what was this podcast even about? It was about like when somebody leaves an organization, how do we handle it? Right.
Yeah.
On the family side, on the organization coach side. So hopefully we've given you some, a side of the tangents and a side of the fact that we're like 8 minutes over. It is what it is. But Jeff and I very, very strongly have a lot of feelings about this topic. So I'm sure we'll talk about it more. But anyways, have a great day, everybody. Happy weekend if you're listening to this on Friday. We love you.